depend on Ghana pennyfo. I don't want to. Tiebrofo, I don't want mempempo. Editia Mahama Banti. Otumfuo breso na ope. Otumfuo breso na Otumfuo ani jehon.
And at the end of the day, a sign ekura symbolic relevance so far as the Ghanaian people are concerned, because platform where how many times na young tenants can say we need to cut down the size of government.
I feel that if you should be assembly was going to wutie me na masama wakwa babiem aba why you think jumedie so wo fidie mi ya no abribia masama mekan ba ko pese ni papa ho no ho ye na eno ti si yankopon ye wadom na odofo obehie ni papa na wabomodin se obeyede obeso no biye ye bekoni yakwaje kasa ni nchiremu efri Ivan nsema wade abetudwa omampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ono no abetena simpie so papa yi betena simpie so no wo hwe sima kakre nyama ototo a wotum se yes we mini pase odi oman no bede ebekọ bebi a ese na efata na enso mpenifo wo kase bi omo kase atwene wo se bi nanim dawa aya ye mbọ nchenchen na nka wo se kenanim ne yebo mepese wo so betie kasefo a abranti wade atudwa na se wona ne ya adwene a ana se wo so wadwenkyire bi a bombadi se odebefa comment section ho na wade atudwa na oman Ghana ne yeye ene ne kanko ne nimpeja ene yehwe
cost you and I enim what comes along abra ya appoint a minister na a whole lot of budget na as for them, and at the end of the day a sign ekura symbolic relevance so far as the Ghanaian people are concerned, because platform where how many times na young tenants can say we need to cut down the size of government, because it is not about the last size of government, it's about efficiency. Akufo-Addo told us say Adjumani Dawson he needed a large crowd to be able to execute that particular thing. At the end of the day, or setting up the biggest size of government in the history of this country, and his government ended up to be the worst government in the history of this country. So it is about efficiency. So I think that particular boldness and walk it through to that particular commitment, I cut down the size of government na 23 ministry, because there are some of the ministries were combined, and one thing I like has to do with the youth empowerment and because over the years, it's a large area. So
sports and recreation,
and then the youth now Kasano development and empowerment. I think that give us the opportunity to be able to train young people for the future, because there be a better young people, future leaders. My culture say we lose and now there can be no tomorrow. So building tomorrow no means that you need to build the youth as well. Say by your meeting, take it a particular child. So government will be place emphasis on young people and be much concerned about their development. A child say you are really setting the stage for that particular future. So I think that is good. And then several other directives are one adeba Santana platform we saw several times has to do with elections. Killings I call so 8 years ago and none other day see
I think was none the for 6.
Yes, I'm for now just say in a civilized democratic dispensation like ours, we go into an election now people who did the killing were captured on video. The president could not cause an investigative body to be constituted. Even at the preliminary stage, require establishing certain merit to be about the case. Now you know what to do. He didn't do a thing about it. So President Awaba, and few days after, what we need that particular commitment, now I catch IGP where I disagree. And they say, my IGP, that particular investigation. For that one, I disagree. Because I'm not sure that the police are competent enough to take that particular child. Because the video that we watched in Techima, most of the killings were done by the police. So if you ask you to go and investigate yourself, I don't know. The president might have his own thought, but me, I disagree with asking the IGP to lead that particular investigation. I think maybe a public inquiry or some kind of an investigative committee be able to, including the police, to come together with information and as for me. But all that being said, I think it's a move in the right direction. I know the day, a resolve major concerns and we're going to the elections because Ghana no any banana republic. We can't go into an election. The president will come and say, but the election was peaceful, but for few regrettable deaths. Now, will you have that particular audacity to stand on TV and say, few regrettable deaths? So I think that particular move is appropriate. And then the service passport, you see, I say, I like the directness. The authority in the tone. I communicating as someone owning the oil. Because one major concern of Okromo has to the abuse of this saying diplomatic privileges over the years. People who don't even work outside, they hold it. And the reason why I all calling all has to do with this abuse, because there are people within in the past administration, whichever way you see it, they will still need the service passport. And I say, we hear those diplomatic pass and then as a forum. But he's asking, say, everybody should surrender. Now, we go through the processes to authenticate. As to whether say they went through the process now and son or more here stay or more hold you or more dear no, it will revert back to you. You understand? So it is not overall say obian family obia free or dear afro some. So that is the process. And I think say going forward, it will also set the stage say processes like this, and this a year abuse now you come now you who say it was abuse. I think that there should be punitive consequences. You better met up to individuals are going forward, such occurrences, So, JB, now I make catch us, baby, I've seen a lot of people jubilating, and as for me, I don't see jubilation. I see, say, this is the time for us to set the stage for the new Ghana. Now you're looking forward, because over the years, I heard the Ghana come, the state of this particular economy, and let's all go to the energy sector, and you catch us as fuel now, and as a gas now, air running with a machine, a sun. We just have your friends 8 hours talker. Show how scary the situation is and how bad the previous managers leave this particular country in. So actually say you have a Herculean task ahead of us as Ghanaians, and going forward, we all need to come together as people and see how support on the government in Yanko rogue. We are all part of it. We need to support the government to ensure say Adia say Ghana deserve no betimi aye am your position of minor Ghana betimi take care of niema ehia Ghana for, because I will kwan Ghana for far so moto about this particular year and they nigie na hokeka na wa manfo mu na me free say they want your friends say Ghana to be better. And they want to be part of that particular story. We want the political narrative in this country to change, and people want to be part of it. That is why I'm telling you, say, going forward, governance should be seen as a public enterprise. Everybody has a vested interest in it, whether the person voted for you or not, whether the person is in the NDC or not, whether the person is part of government or not. Everybody has a vested interest in this politics that we're doing. So we don't go and sit there and say, me party abamena yama me to me so I can do the hell what I want. No, you can't, because adia atu Otumfuo ado ne state okura esiwo ayatu no Ghana for amanensi wo no. So we anigi yabubu state onusu interviews are course. So you see the celebration within people. It shows that people were really angry, because at the time people were hungry. Yade embago atoto amanfo sika so people who did investment omodi omusika borrow government kwanya ya fa so yade yansa toto sa sika no so, because kendo foreta bi kotenanse se ode omine bebo nkwase abosen ama niamaje niamansam. And because of that, you saw the celebration and the jubilation. So it's a message to Obia say it's not going to be business as usual. I can't just say politics going forward in this country. No, it is not business as usual. And I'm very sure the president-elect is very aware. President Mahama is the reason why all go about things the way that he's doing. And I think that as long as he goes about this way, we will achieve whatever that we want to achieve. Because in terms of efficiency, cutting down the size of government, and I'm sure said not just the size of government, there are several avenues. Nema be oha. As a year realign, na year reshuffle, nema be several year. You bet me put your home on the road that Ghana bet me I get into economic recovery, because as we speak, so here Ghana economy says here be and JB and the scary aspect of it is say I am from Kamwasem say 2026 we be chance here betua car Akufo Addo pia kwa animu no na bisa won say sika na ekofa na wo hefa o tin sem na make no and John Mahama 2012 no obo modern ball for to ho na sika gugum bebre. Can we say the same thing today? Say there are funds that are available. They all no kra na ya sini nyina dia sisi akamaja no akọ. So e kire say adwuma na e da yanim no eso. So what we nya akwanya na oba ban numa, you should know say you are working for the people of Ghana. Ghanaians are watching you from afar, and you need to do the right thing because Akufo-Addo na Ghana for time. There was a time somebody called me and they say abana more time. Abana say we name the worker. Why will anybody hate a government and a president? Because after all, as a president, your papa, you'll be happy to have him as your president. Yeah. But Makasa is not always about being president. It is about being president with responsibility. You understand? Unya Kenya na adia wode ye fa mobra papa. Na ye to abaman wan fa mobra papa no you decide say me na me wo to me the buy dia me pa. This is what will happen to you. So obi antan aban, but because of abrabobone a oje o mind na hantan ne sa akasa yan kan kire nipa no mo de ye. And the man Ghana for a go the standard they went because 2016 Akufo-Addo was a darling boy for Ghanaians. Na Ghana for eso so don't forget to say na emma at Jessica Okwaboso kan ya motom your first paper yes. So that Akufo-Addo and Ghana for a hold in high esteem no suddenly by say na near masan ya I don't know be pen any mahwe e ya braba unya tumi no the boy. So it can happen to anybody at any point in time. Enti unya tumi ya me say whatever that has happened to Akufo-Addo no everybody should take a cue from it. Say wo bo bra na say wo toto niema na wan toto ni ye na wo break it all from the trust and nipa dia ma wa no the day no jebi ubedu dokonokwa. And I think that the promises that has been made, you know, we are heading there. For it, the major one has to do with the constitutional re-engineering that we need to do, because I believe, sir, in your constitution, you know, several portions of it outlive the essence and the usefulness relative to where we are today, and that there is the need for us to update this document, because the constitution is supposed to be a living document and reflecting the daily aspirations of the people. I know that, you know, if it is not aligned, it means you need to go back and do a lot of engineering about it. And I think we need to change essential portions of our constitution, align it with the modern needs and the demands of young people. Article 71 holders as Sama Yakan Okruma, President Mahama made a promise to do some changes in as for them. All these things are near as a government in open to, because I am not expecting to see any massive economic transformation within these 4 years. But what we can do is we can lay a solid foundation in terms of law, our constitution, in terms of institution, in terms of personnel, in terms of structure, and so forth. When we lay this solid foundation, trust me, we can build Ghana from there. Because see, I am building this foundation, I am making sure that institutions become very robust, institutions become very effective. Now, individuals in power can easily wake up a day and say, "Men are me to me, you know, I can just whip institutions in line," just like we saw under President Akufo-Addo when the Auditor General and other people were mishandled and at the end of the day booted out using state institutions like the Supreme Court and as a former. We will not get anywhere. So the most important thing is JB, we need to sanitize state institutions and make them effective and make sure that we are able to engender trust. How many people even have trust in our court today? Because it's the same court ya na edi dem level adi o me make sure say ye bedi na sem akase only for no now we passing age of retirement and na say all these are your friends saying deliberate machinations these people employ just to ensure that the government will get it way na say for them. So going forward, you know, these are nema aye bottlenecks ema yem kwayanim Ghana for looking forward say the new government will take the bull by the horn and make sure say we sanitize all these state institutions that be Ghana for being trust them. There are people calling for the heads of Amam for more years as well. Is it there are constitutional processes and as for constitutional frameworks were very wise because they knew that time will come we may have individuals or money ready to occupy sensitive positions. That was why they created that particular window. So the constitutional window that has been created, you know, can equally be activated to get whoever we want to get out. Because I know the most important thing I am a government be a Gina Howas as we so and your soldier for the police for and how many people are by more. It is about the trust and the confidence public repose in that government, and you cannot afford to lose it because the very moment a government loses the trust and the commitment of the people, no, that government is done. So at the end of the 2 Akufo-Addo now all free said still he was in control because going to that particular elections, now it was Ghana against Akufo-Addo and Nabang.
I see.
Because people were fed up, and I'm sure say if you're able to do some of these things, now you straighten the path for Ghana for being trust and the confidence our democracy in being because now no Ibrahim Traore ba inauguration center. Now say. Now I was going through a lot of your friends and reviews. Say what is happening when the gentleman took the stage. Look at the jubilation.
Yeah, sure.
But this is a military junta. But why would people in a democratic country celebrate somebody or a cool leader? Because people are gradually getting fed up with the way a man you go about your democracy. I have argued that to me, democracy is the best. Unless it's any other option to prove otherwise. But to me, democracy is the best. But because we are not practicing it well, my guys are saying democracy, we have imposters fronting democratic rule. They are just running it like a Ponzi scheme.
Imposters.
Oh, yes. Because or no adopted the convenient aspect of democracy and are implement it. But where institutions and Mra say yeah, you want to hold people accountable. That part in their twatching and a man for who democracy so fast. And so this time round, no, we need to go full flare. Now implementing the full aspect of democracy. Sabaya Ghana ni benya GDA wom say cool crowd will be because cool na man for a pre hon. I can't just a soldier for you who more day. I won't be you come Babajio. Now, what you want to crowd and Yaman who is a soldier for Babaji. Soldier for now, we name that I know you kuno. And yet, and then most of them have no morals, they have no principle, they have no values. Those things now in the past, they trained soldier for any hobby. So just imagine these people coming to take over the country. You can imagine same extension of politics and they come military men there. But yet mean to talk near man asset. So we need to ensure say yeah running your mind running to inspire trust confidence every man for bit me follow democracy na so abam fa so amaye and I'm sure say Ghana will do well
Ompekra na say ni trimu no opese asante de ne ho na ono akasa e control asante or say so let's have a social contract and then we do it. Asante Hini to the World Bank Vice President for Western and Central Africa. Sansemiya Otumfuo Ken. Sa subanya in barely 1 week since Yeshua Mahama in Otumfuo Eda Nedino. It poses a serious challenge to John Dramani Mahama's presidency. Se Mahama man ni anya din amfa de na NC for moi. I see a serious challenge for John Dramani Mahama. Because NPP Mumpenifo wants to use Otumfuo to undermine Mahama's presidency. And this is what they want to achieve. They want to undermine John Dramani Mahama, the presidency. No? They want to reduce Mahama to nothing but a paper tiger. Say a di keke. And a Ghana for any areas for Nabete say, oh, Mahama and Mampeni now. So but in reality, they want to limit Mahama. Oh, yeah. They want to limit Mahama at all cost. Because sa Ajimai syndrome we mehubida ama enkofo amayabo. Oh yeah. Sa Ajimai syndrome we sa matime ho, sa medime ho, sa kokuti isem sa suban we no ama enkofo amai abo. Kanina Sudan ba kope with their capital being Khartoum. This same syndrome ena ema Sudan ye chemu mienu. Ene ye wo South Sudan with their capital being Juba, and Sudan with their capital being Khartoum. They were one. This same Sudan and Emma UN for Chem, So I see a serious challenge for John Dramani. So one funny night NC form. Now say Mahama man any anya dia. I sense a great danger or challenge for John Dramani Mahama and his leadership. I mean, for the idea konya na Otumfuo te so. Idea to me na Otumfuo wo se obie na no eka sa asem we obra mampani wo ho and this same mampani no krampo aye ka ne ho asem no ono na odi empunto ba santimemu I cannot depend on Ghana penifo. I don't want to tie brofo no I don't want mempempo edia Mahama banti Akufo adom reso na ope Akufo adom reso na Otumfuo ani je ho Mahama ba ye pe suddenly mempempo se me de Asante puntuo be hye Mahama nsa na edien ya edien petie Ghana no eye unitary sovereign nation. ye ni any autonomous region in Ghana. Ghana crampo any federal system whereby US are your governors, and those governors are voted for. Oba Ghana had your ministers, regional ministers, they are appointed by the president to yento aben you omu. Iti Ghana hano enya Italy whereby a Vatican edene in a way. Over Ghana, we have no autonomous region in Ghana. Every region is under the sole authority of the president, the central government. Inti Otumfuo no sebi or a chancellor of KNUST was suya die ni wade. Otumfuo should understand this. Say ne region no, he is only a traditional leader. Asa it ends there. Oni tumi bia, onye commander in chief, oni central bank. Oni currency ne resources simple enhye ne nsa Asante resources no eje Otumfuo dia enhye ne nsa afese moti do mahinase mon se afe na moti do mahinase ya na do mahine kasa yes ye ena mapei ena ompe Otumfuo asem ena opentokwa afe na yate do mahinase se ensem we na do mahine ka ho asem no se Otumfuo no ya stopping na obe cause a serious problem in this country. Yet is ansem we di agura Otumfuo no obe check Ghana mienu. Ati Asante free Ghana mu. Senia Kwame Nkrumah mreso nanka won pese yete Asante free Ghana mu no, they want to achieve that at all cost. Believe you and I. Say Mahama anya very careful na membu no, especially within Ashanti region, obenya ne tough. Nese we krapo no Otumfuo di ono ankasa na Asantefo a eto de ma Mahama say onfam puntu embra Asante mebu atem. Say saafo ni mu nyansa say how can you trust Asante puntu in the hands of John Dramani Mahama we di ono ankasa ne nkofo atem. Ibi what? Dear ye ka sansem we ya e ma obi ambumfu because ye nyina no ya ka ye ho abom as Ghana for. Na sa suban we na Otumfuo eda na di no se Ghana chenso decide to go the same way. Tobia fede yagbon wura ya na Yakubu ho ahwan decide to go the same way. Domahine so decided to go the same way. Me say you have nothing left to call a nation. Ghana bebo, and this calls for a serious concern. Same way no, they call for a serious gargantuan concern. Say Otumfuo no edi etumi no wo. Adena ye so and him for be so Ghana had to feel say as a omuye empo about the central government. Yanchechire man sao. Yambode man sao. Say ye so and him for be so men kasa him for be kra Otumfuo so because apart from ono obi ani wa sabi you or hini bia ni Ghana ha wa bi na no akasa same way. It ye so Otumfuo so to as a onya sa illusional thought ne say or ye bigger than the whole Ghana. Now, me primpuntu ama masante I can depend on Ghana penifo under John Dramani Mahama. Eba ani saying, ikusi saying, hena sasem we free eba. Dear go said you 8 years under Akufo-Addo de we Mahama eba 5 days in ye. Dear dinner Otumfuo who are 8 years under Akufo-Addo de we dear sem. We can't build a nation this way. That is why Kwame Nkrumah Osajefo in those days, na dream say, or jinsa see free and him for them sansem winti. Oh yeah, send the bayanka abibenya all the to me over the lands and everything, the same Asante and the authority anabai. Until for so many years, Asante has been an impediment to the progress of this nation. And I'm saying this for a fact. Say over the years, Ashanti, and I say Asante or whatever, has been an impediment in the progress of this nation. They always sabotage. And they see everything wrong with the government. Suddenly no Otumfuo enyane from coma. Ebisa say, why them mampeni? Yes, ye Mahama also well. Yes, dia say Mahama nkwa dia mint me for Asante puntu enhye Mahama sa. This is what he wants to mean. But on tia say Asante nye autonomous region. Asante Shegana say